Good evening everyone and welcome to round 11 of the UK and Ireland Monday Night Skippies here at Donington Park, supported by the Campaign Against Living Miserably, or CAM as it's formerly known. As you join us here in qualifying at the moment, you're here at the moment, and we're in the middle of qualifying as Linus Brostam is not here with me tonight unfortunately, but nevertheless we've got the majestic Brazilian himself, Lorenzo Bonza. Good evening, Lorenzo.
Good evening, Ryan, and thanks for having me here. Yeah, unfortunately, Linus cannot be here with us, but it should be a really good race because most sport proved to be a very traditional, chaotic last lap. Donington's a little bit of the same, of course, doesn't have the same track variation. I kind of lie, actually has some variation like we normally see in most sports. So in terms of action, it should be a really good round, to be very honest with you. Four-way battle for the championship you should be seeing on the screen really soon, but that top two is looking really juicy.
Yeah, absolutely. As Benny Simonson's pretty much been the man in form at the moment, as you can see, leading the championship with 338 points, but Lear Hughes is still keeping him honest in second with 311 points. Simon Edwards is in the top three. Adam Miles is in fourth, with Ewan Patterson fifth, Andrew Baranowski sixth, and then Ben Evans in seventh. Eighth is Dave Dawson, ninth is Daniel Tufts, and rounding out the top 10 is Will Redford. And it's been a good season, the UK&I Monday Night Skippies, and it's produced some fantastic racing. And I think Donington Park, with it being a great track and a tight track at that, I think it could produce great racing as someone goes flying in qualifying.
Just taking a little bit of an extra line. I didn't know they actually could go for a jump in there.
His drivers are in the middle of qualifying, like I mentioned at the start of the broadcast, and looking at Adam Miles at the moment, currently in 8th, and he's been one of those standout drivers this season, towards the end of the season rather, and he's been getting in the top 10 at times, having great results and riding on board with him at the moment. And Lorenzo, what corners do you think will be the best passing opportunities?
I think we have three ones. Probably main straight and the back straight are obviously the main passing opportunities because you're coming in from relatively high to mid speed corner, especially the back straight one that leads kind of to the chicane into the main straight. If you got a good run into the main straight, ride those turtle curbs properly, the red turtle curbs. If you ride them properly, you can get a little bit of a launch in the line with Jeff. You can go for a move on turn one. But the middle track is kind of wide for the Skippy cars, so they can also do any moves in there as well. I think the most problematic one might be turn 3. The right hand kick is kind of dangerous.
As Adam Miles was heading down to the old hairpin, and this is one of my favourite corners because you can carry so much momentum, but if you get it wrong, you can run wide onto the gravel and possibly spin out. But as it looks like qualifying is finished, and we'll take you through the grid. As the front row, pole position is taken by Ken Halliburton, and second and Nick Vaughan Roberts, and in third place is Will Redford, with fourth place going to Benny Simonson alongside him. Lear Hughes in fifth, and then rounding out the top 6 is Joe Osborne. 7th is Simon Edwards, Adam Miles in 8th. 9th is Ewan Patterson, Ben Daniels in 10th. And then starting 11th is Nathan Wade with George Mattock in 12th. And then Andrew Baranowski in 13th, Dave Dawson in 14th, Ben Evans in 15th, with 16th going to Matthew Wifferis, and 17th place going to Andrew S. Leach. 18th is Tony Stack, with Mark Langford in 19th, Dave Kirkman rounding out the top 20, Anthony P.M. Jones 21st, James McRitchie's 22nd, 23rd is Kevin Burge, 24th Daniel Tufts, 25th John Edwards, Seth Brown 26th, 27th going to Bodge Kicho, hopefully I got it right, 29th or 28th rather, going to Race Peasley, 29th is Tim Adcock, Christopher Miles in 30th, Clark Williams in 31st, Andrew Bertie in 32nd, Niall McGinty in 33rd, 34th is Dave Clapham, Alan Patterson 35th, 36th Tom Dell, 37th is Chris Kent, Simon Forns in 38th, Peter Parnell in 39th, and the rest of the drivers that did not set a time can be seen on your screen right now. As the cars are just lining up on the grid, and away we go. as everyone's off the line now and they're heading down to the first corner, and it looks like hopefully everyone can keep it clean into turn 1, but with so many cars on the track it'll be difficult, as Ken Halliburton's got a great start into turn 1 with Nick Vaughan Roberts in second, running a little bit wide and loses their position to Will Redford as they're heading down to on the run down to the old hairpin.
And you can see Simonson kind of side by side, might take the position from Vaughan Roberts as he does. So the leader of the championship moving up to P3, but that turn lap 1 with the Skippys, we know the cold tires come into effect and how difficult they are to drive.
Yeah, absolutely. As they just heading up to the McLaren's now, and it looks like still everyone's relatively clean, but the battle for third place at the moment is starting to get spicy already, and we're only on lap 1 with Benny Simonson in third place by the looks of it, and it looks like yeah, a few cars behind starting to go at it already as we ride on board with Joe Osborne heading down to the chicane.
Yeah, also Joe Osborne, Simon Edwards, a little bit nearly going, drivers going 3 wide. Now I think Vaughan Roberts had to give a little bit of a checkup and nearly caused a pile up, but the cars kept checking back and forth. No major drama in there, no major accidents in lap number 1.
Yep, so everyone's been relatively clean, and as further back in the field we've got this battle going on as well with the 17 car of Jazz Mattock. Oh, someone's had issues, and there's been a couple of cars had incidents.
That was Vaughan Roberts, to be very honest. So just on turn number 1, ran a little bit off wide, then locked the brakes right on the exit of the turn. 4 cars involved, 3 actually crashed, 1 actually managed to run away.
Yep, so looking at the replay now of the incident of Nick Vaughan Roberts, and he just got sideways and tagged another car, and other cars are having to go off on the grass to avoid him, and bits of debris flying everywhere. And that's the thing with this car, Lorenzo, with the damage model as well, that sometimes even a slight, maybe slow speed contact, if you like, can cause big issues with this car.
Yeah, I think, and this is one of the key issues. I'm not going to say just with this car specifically, but with all the open wheel cars, the side wheel action is we're looking towards Mark Langford trying to go into the outside of the chicane. There's a little bit of a touch with that's P16 Ben Daniels and Emily Jones, but I think not sure if I think Anthony just lost his rear wing here. Brian, I don't know how that much is going to affect that car.
Yeah, it seems to be if you lose a rear wing, you've got to be very on your toes, if you like, as we're looking at the replay now, and rear Peasley just gets tagged in the chicane by another car, and yeah, I think people are trying to make it probably 3 wide into the chicane, and it never ever ends well, even in real life.
Even in real life, that never ends well. Even if it is the old Essence chicane, if it is the long Essence chicane, that it never works, you know. So the thing is, you don't want to go into Goddards and pray that you're going to be side by side. Everything is going to work. Imagine 3 wide, everything's going to be into shambles. But now, really good bat for in the top 3, because both Ben Sims and Real were after our own Kane's heels as they go into Goddards anytime now.
Yep, as the top 3 heading to the chicane now, and it looks like Will Redford has lost a bit of his front wing, or front nose anyway, because he might have had contact with Ken Halliburton. It looks like coming across the line now, Redford's making the move on Halliburton, heading down to turn 1. Can he get the move done? I think he can.
Yeah, and I'm just while we were looking at this, I just got the audio. It's probably Mark Langford and a handful of the cars got involved right on Compass. I think that was about 5 cars I had seen getting involved into an incident that started, I think, with the car number 22. Just gotta look who it is right here. James McRitchie just running off into the gravel trap and then coming back on track, unfortunately.
Yep, as I look at the replay of McRitchie now, and it looks like he's under attack from another car on the outside, and McRitchie just got in the dirty part of the track on the outside and lost grip, and unfortunately from then on he was just a passenger, and unfortunately other cars got caught up in his incident, and that's pretty much day done for him.
They done for him, and I think also the pink car is done as well. In the meanwhile, Will Redford takes the lead from Kane Halliburton and Benny Simpson also in charge. But these are the only cars in the grid who are in the 17th threshold and still breaking away from Lear Hughes. So even if Lear is actually getting closer, I might be butchering the name, of course, but he's still on the hunt.
Yeah, he's not too far back actually. He's got Joe Osborne and Simon Edwards behind him, and Simon Edwards, as he's been known to do during the season, he doesn't have. He's not really good at qualifying, but in the race he seems to slowly make progress, and he could be one of those people that might just be sitting there thinking, "What am I going to do if I catch up to this pack? Do I go for it, or just plan what I'm going to do in the final couple of laps?" Is riding on board with Benny Simonson at the moment. And Benny Simonson's leading the championship, so he's got to think about it. Does he want to try and be aggressive and risk taking himself out, or does he just want to sit here and maybe just try and get the best result possible and just take a step closer to the championship, especially in the final round next week at Long Beach?
He's going to be quite tricky, but Benny actually is making a good push. I think he's trying to play a little bit more aggressive, just trying to find that opening on Kane.
As they head down to the final chicane now, and Benny Simonson's got the run, he's going to go for the move on the inside of Ken Halliburton. Can he outbrake him and get the move done? It looks like he can. As they come across the start-finish line now, and Wedford's managed to build a little bit of a gap as they come across the line now, and heading down to turn 1, and Ken Halliburton's fallen back to third now, and this has allowed the pack of Lear Hughes, Joe Osborne and Simon Edwards to catch up to these guys now. And it looks like Clark Williams has had an issue. Looking at the replay, he spun on the exit of turn 1 and escapes from the race, and it looks like he didn't have any contact from the wall, but it might have been just he just had damage previously before that, so unfortunately that's Clark Williams and having to take a tow.
Yeah, and it's not hard for you to actually lose control of the car on turn number 1, because if you catch this lighted patch of grass during a reacceleration, the car just veers off into the inside part of the turn. You have to be quick on the braking so you can save that car. Also within that battle, Joe Osborne actually managing to close with Simon Edwards, so that could become a 7-way car battle for the lead or top 5 into this race.
It was further back in the pack. Nathan Wade had issues further back in the field, and he was in 10th, but he's losing positions hand over fist, and he's fallen down to 13th. That's going to be about 14th, 15th, and even down to 16th by the look of it. And so unfortunate after having a great run in the top 10, but that's just the nature of Donington Park, as he's under attack from another car, and he's about to fall to 17th by the looks of it.
Yeah, Daniel Tufts just managed to overtake Wade, and now Baranowski's just on his rear end going for the inside look, as we're looking now into Will Reffer now having to defend from Benny Simpson as he takes the lead.
Absolutely, as they head down to the old hairpin now, and Benny Simpson is into the lead, like you say, Lorenzo, and he's still under attack from Will Redford, and Will Redford's he's had pace at times this season, but luck has just not been on his side, especially at Bathurst when it just went all horribly wrong in the closing stages. As looking at the replay of Nathan Wade, and he just turns in, and unfortunately just had a slight bit of contact, and it bounced him into the gravel, but still managing to keep going, but he's got slight front wing damage.
Yeah, and that wing damage, I don't know how much that impairs you in terms of your race, because the Skippys, you kind of can manage the car even with those light dents. It is not a major loss of time, but it is a loss of time that you might have to be under drafts for you to still be competitive. And now Joe Osborne and Simon Edwards. Simon actually lost a little bit of touch to Joe. He's going to catch again since Joe ran wide, but you see through the look of Lear Hughes, and you can see how aggressive it is on that part of the track, as there's a car on the exit of the pit lane.
Yep, the car on the exit of the pit lane just manages to slow down before these guys get to turn 1 and lets them go by, so good heads-up driving there from the back marker as they head down to the old hairpin yet again. And the Monday Night Skippys is normally known for being really close in most races, but at the moment it looks like the field's pretty much spread out, as the top 4 cars are heading up the hill to this tricky right-hander that I always find anyway, because it just tempts you to carry so much speed, but if you get it wrong and run onto that gravel and catch catch it wrong, it can spit you into the wall or onto the grass at least, as Will Redford tries to take a sneaky look but can't get by Benny Simonson.
Yeah, you can see how those four bunched up. At one point, actually, this is kind of funny. I'm looking over here at my lifetime on that. It says the difference between first and second was 0.183. The second to third was 0.183, and the same difference to third and fourth. And then we have a little bit of a gap between fourth and fifth, and then fifth and sixth. There is also action for top 10 as well. A little bit bad because Ben Evans is under pressure for George Maddock, and Dave Gallison is in their heels as well. About a few tenths of a second back for George Maddock as well, as you guys see on the pip.
Yep, George Maddock in 8th, and he's been improving in every race this season, and currently in the top 10 yet again. And George Maddock, as he said to me last week, he's been getting help from a certain Sebastian Job that races in the Porsche Esports Super Cup, so he's got a good mentor in him, and I think just watching George now in the top 10 again, it's paying off for sure.
As now we're actually looking toward George Maddock's cam. And,
sorry to interrupt, Lorenzo, but it looks like Leo Hughes has had issues.
Yes, he did.
It looks like he's standing in the middle of the track. Oh, he's just about to get tagged from another car. Oh, don't move, son. Oh, that was so unlucky for Leo Hughes, and he just tagged another car that went round.
And that was Simon Adler who's actually got in contact with him, and the one who actually made him initial contact and push him off the track or into the halfway portion of the track in a vertical was actually Joe Osborne, who I think was a little bit caught off guard with the proximity out of the cars and just pushed them out a little bit. That's unfortunate for Leo Hughes, and championship-wise, that is going to be real damaging for him.
Yeah, I was looking at the replay, and it was his teammate Anthony P.M. Jones that got caught up, or just tagged Leo Hughes, just tried to get round him and just tagged the rear of his car. And I think after that, for Leo Hughes, I think that's pretty much championship over, especially for Simon Edwards as well, who's got a badly front end damage.
Yeah, it looks like that right here, that right front tire of Simon Edwards just decided to give up. Coming into Goddard, you can see he struggles a little bit, kind of fights, but the car just doesn't want to turn. You know, it doesn't want to turn. And whenever the car doesn't want to turn, you have to bring it back exactly to the pits, and that's what he does. Even if you have to cut the track, that opens up the gap, opens up the race for Benny Simpson. Just, be safe, don't overextend yourself. You probably know your competitors are in the pits, and just now finish this race.
Yep. It's like I was saying before, I think yeah, the temptation to go for it and trying to win every race is so tempting, but you've got to think of the championship and kind of use that mindset or approach that Alan Prost used when he raced in Formula 1. Just use that mentality of you don't have to win every race, but just finish on the podium and collecting points.
Yeah, I think another thing that we can be talking about, if I remember correctly, this is one of the fastest races also of the season, so it is short in total length. It isn't what we saw back in Bathurst, where they had those nearly 2.5 minute laps. Here you have about 1 minute 17, 1 minute 18, so it's really quick. I think only Motorsport and maybe some other tracks might come to mind to be really quick, so hot. But there's a little bit of desperation for you to make those moves,
Yeah, absolutely. As looking at the battle for 26 at the moment, looking at the 38 car of Seth Brown, he's in a bit of a swamp of cars, and also looking at the league owner Alan Patterson as well, riding on board with him, heading down to the old hairpin. And yeah, it's good to see Alan having another great race as well. He's one of those people, he might not be up at the front challenging for win or podiums, but when he keeps out of trouble and gets to the end, he can get some decent results, and at the moment having a decent race at the moment. But looking at Seth Brown still, he's under attack from a couple of cars behind him, and it looks like he might be getting there's a contact behind.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see who actually got tagged in there within that battle. I'm just trying to cycle myself around, but I cannot find what happened. That was Chris Hansen we saw getting tagged just in the uphill right-hander of McLean's, and now we're back with the final with the lead because Benny Simpson is doing his best, because both Will Redford and Ken Halliburton and Joe Osborne, the trio, are actually really close in there. they're trying to find the gaps, and Benny's not letting them go anywhere whatsoever.
Absolutely not. Benny Simonson, he's a quick driver, but he can be a bit aggressive at times, and he's a very hard driver to get by. He does some hard defending, that's for sure. And at the moment, he's doing a great defensive job, keeping these three cars behind with Redford, Halliburton, and Osborne. And Kane Halliburton as well. He's not in the championship battle after missing some races in the middle of the season, so he can just go for it if he wants to. He doesn't need to worry about. It might just be me, but I wouldn't want to think about ruining anyone's race. You're in with a chance of winning a race, and you've just got to go for it.
Yeah, you have to have that safe mindset, especially when you are fighting for these championships. You know, you want to go for the best position possible, always for the win, but you want to ruin yourself with a car that is fragile. Any open wheel in night racing nowadays is fragile. Even the slightest touch can actually get you a possible loss of wheel or more suspension damage that make your car basically unsteerable. So you have to have a safe approach. You can see how close Will Redford comes into the old hairpin and applies a little bit of pressure on that rear wing of Benny Simpson.
Absolutely, as they head up to McLean's now, and Redford is putting Simonson under huge pressure, but on the other hand, Simonson's dealing with the pressure absolutely brilliant. But look at the replay further back in the field. That looks like the 77 car of Mods Kiko, I should say. I've probably butchered that, but having issues and got tagged into the wall. But luckily manages to get going again.
Yeah, actually he's back in the pits. Had to tow back the car back to the pits, Mod. But the problem is he had also secondary issue in turn number 1 on the previous lap that might have rendered some damage inside that Skippy from the number 77. So this is unfortunate. It has been a kind of attrition race, this race so far. But look at this, nearly 3 wide coming into turn 1 now. Calls are out because we're nearly 5 to go.
Absolutely, I was riding on board of Joe Osborne on the exit of turn 1 and heading down the hill, and he could be in the box seat here because he doesn't seem too eager to get involved. He's just waiting and seeing what happens, and it looks like Redford. Oh, I thought Redford was going to run into the back of Simonson there, but Osborne's just keeping a watching brief, watching what these guys are doing, and I think if any of these three in front of him get caught up, then he could be the one to pick up the pieces, pick up the places, and maybe take a win.
Yeah, I think he's just looking for the opening as Kane. He just runs a little bit off wide into McLean. He's going to Coppice right now. Ball for cars. Nearly close to one another. Nearly 1/10 of a second between one car to the other. Now running all the way down to Sarkey Straight. This will be a good battle with 5 to go.
Yep, heading down to the chicane now, and these top 4 cars are still really close together. Simonson, just watching the cars watch these guys throw the car over the curve, it's absolutely brilliant to watch, and it's kind of, they're just, if you take too much curve or have the right height too low over these cars, especially over the curves like we saw there, you can get some wing damage or forward damage, sorry. But at the moment, I don't think any of these guys are caring about it, and Joe Osborne's fallen back slightly, as the top 3 cars are still close together, heading down to the old hairpin, and yeah, it's how. I'm not sure who I would predict to take the win, but this is a fantastic battle either way.
Yeah, it got shades of what we see in the most part, right, Ryan? With all these cars battling one another. Unfortunately, we don't have Simon Edwards and Lear Hughes is in here as well because they were fighting for the win too. But Benny is doing some kind of work. Actually, he's using the max usage out of the track, picking up those off-track incidents maybe from time to time. But you know, those are there for you to make usage of that whenever you have to use them aggressively. You know, you can get one more. We see now a battle between the further back in the field with Peter Cowan just moving into the inside of turn number 1 for one more spot.
Yep, and yeah, he's doing a good job as well. He looks like he's in a bit of a battle at the moment, and it's like that livery from Peter Cowan because it just looks simple, and the Club 100 sponsored driver currently heading through the old hairpin, as someone behind him gets a bit sideways, manages to hold it, but at the bottom of the screen still watching this battle for the lead between Simonson, Redford and Halliburton, and Joe Osborne's falling back slightly, but riding on board with Phil McDougall heading up through McLean's, and it looks like he's trying to make a move on the outside. Can he keep up the momentum and get the run? It looks like he's got the move done.
Yeah, Phil does, but there comes Coppice. You can dive yourself inside down a Coppice, and it isn't much of an off-camber turn. That is more for McLean's whenever you're side by side, and you're still side by side. And now I think Will Redford will make the move on McLean's over here.
Yeah, it looks like it. Oh, Redford up the inside. Simonson leaves just enough room, and Will Redford try and dive up the inside, heading up to Coppice. I don't think he can. He decides against it, and I think he's waiting to try and get the run on the exit of Coppice, heading down the Dunlop Straight.
Yeah, now back into the Dunlop Straight. That is a black marker car right in front of him as they make quick work out of it. Now, the thing for Benny is that he doesn't have to override those curbs as he nearly did on the previous lap. Got the car a little bit wiggly on the outside part of it and still keeping it straight. About 0.2 of a second behind Redford.
Yep, as the top three just came across the line now and heading into turn one. And yeah, Redford is looking really feisty now. He wants to get by as quickly as possible. And I think Ken Halliburton is thinking the same thing as looking back at 31st Tom Dale. And yeah, Tom Dale and someone else having another battle as well. And it looks like Tom Dale gets the move done. He manages to keep the position, but he's yeah, under a bit of attack.
Yeah, that is Chris Kane right behind him. Tried to go for the cutback move, doesn't work. There's Ray Peasley and Phil McDougall right in front of him. As both Lee, as you're going to see now, Peasley into the inside, coming to the hairpin. On the second, on the smaller screen, you can see Redford applying that major pressure. All four cars go nearly side by side. They nearly touch on the wheels. I think there was a touch on the wheel that made a race car get a little bit loose and lost the speed on the mid par and kind of brings the number one. It kind of brings Tom Dow into the fray.
Yep, as still Watterson in this battle into turn one. Tom Dale, he just has a big slight bit of contact with the car in front of him and has to run wide on the exit of turn one, but manages to still keep going. But the top three coming across the line now to start lap 18, sorry, as heading into turn one. And Redford again tries to make a move, but Simonson has to miss the apex slightly because Redford was making a move, but Redford's got the run, and Halliburton's Halliburton's pretty much decided I want to get involved in this.
Yeah, we can see Cannon being a little bit more aggressive than usual, trying to find those moves, but I like what Will is doing. You know, he's applying pressure, trying to find those gaps, trying to work it himself a little bit. If he can go for that gap, he will go for it. But he wants to do it in a safe manner. He wants to overtake safely. He doesn't want to jeopardize his race and also Benny's Livingston. So I like the battle that we have going over here as they come to the final lap anytime soon.
Yep, as they head round Coppice now and heading onto the Dunlop Straight now, and it looks like Simonson got a great run, but it looks like Redford's got a great run as well, and Redford's using the slipstream and he's trying to go for the run now, and Ken Halliburton was a bit hesitant there. I think he decided to try and go in the slipstream but decides against it at the last second as they head through the chicane now and about to come across the line to start the final lap.
Yeah, I think it will. I think Will Redford just said it on chat. This is it, guys. Final lap again, and there goes Will Redford on the outside on Benny Simpson.
Yep, heading into turn one now, and it looks like they're going to go three wide. Hopefully they don't go three wide, but these guys are probably pretty much its gloves off as they head down to the old hairpin. And Halliburton trying to make a move on Redford as Redford's trying to hold on the outside of Simonson into the old hairpin. They come, and it looks like Simonson's got a great entry, but he's got to slow down a little bit as it looks like Ken Halliburton's making the move on. Well, Redford doesn't get so close to end up making contact.
This is nerve-wracking a little bit for me as Kane goes side by side and nearly touch wheels with Will Redford now into Coppice. This is going to be a little bit tricky for him to make it out too wide. Yeah, they touch.
Oh, Redford's around. Oh, what a save.
Oh, great save.
Oh, that was fantastic as it looks like that gave Benny Simonson a chance to head down to the final chicane, or into the chicane rather, to take the win. And yeah, after absorbing all that pressure, Benny Simonson is going to come across the line and take the win in a close fought battle with Will Redford and Ken Halliburton. Ken Halliburton's going to finish. Halliburton's got a slowdown actually, as it looks like Redford's finished second and Halliburton's finished in third. As further back in the field as well, we've got this battle going on as well with Anthony Catt and Andrew Baranowski for 11th place. As Anthony Catt tries to hold the position into the chicane, and it looks like Andrew Baranowski, tried to take advantage of that, but across the line it looks like Anthony Catt is going to hold on to 11th place. But
that's what you call a little bit of a launch.
yeah, I was going to say, if he made that move, that Baranowski, that would have been a bit of a ascent, as we call it in sim racing or real life motorsport. But as all the rest of the cars come across the line, I have to say, Lorenzo, that was a fantastic race.
That was a fantastic race. A little bit of aggression from the start of the race, but of course this is the nature of Donington Park. In a very quick lap, 1 minute and 18 lap, basically in its average. So you have to be very quick to make the moves. You don't have a lot of laps to be patient. You have to be moving up. And that battle for the lead, man, that was fantastic stuff from Kane Halliburton and Benny Simpson. I think what happened is that Kane knew that he overcommitted and kind of let pull a Rubens Barrichello or Michael Schumacher on the Indianapolis Rebel Ring, if you will, and let Reffer go by.
Yeah, absolutely. As all the cars are still waiting for the rest of the cars to come around to finish, and once everyone crosses the line, we will take you through the results for round 11 of the UK and Ireland Monday Night Skippies. And just a reminder for anyone that's watching, the last round of the series takes place at Long Beach next week, and that should be a fantastic final round in the championship. But the results are up on your screen now, with Benny Simonson taking a hard-fought win, with Will Redford finishing in second, Kane Halliburton finishes in third, with Joe Osborne in fourth, Ben Evans finishes in fifth, with George Mattock in sixth, Dave Dawson finishes in seventh, with Andrew Leach in eighth, Tony Stark in ninth, Anthony Catt rounds out the top 10, and in 11th, Daniel Tufts. 12th is Andrew Baranowski with Mark Van Dalen in 13th. 14th is Matt Wifferis in 14th. Simon Edwards 15th. 16th going to John Edwards with 17th. Going to Adam Miles. Seymour Harden in 18th. 19th, Kevin Bergen. 20th, Niall McGinty. Seth Brown 21st. 22nd is Dave Kirkman with Neil Andrews in 23rd. Peter Cowan in 24th. 25th, and Alan Patterson. 26th, Anthony P.M. Jones. 27th rather is Ray Peasley with 28th, going to Phil McDougall. Chris Kane in 29th. 30th is Ben Daniels, and the rest of the results can be seen on your screen. As we're just waiting for some drivers to come in for an interview, and it looks like we might have Will Redford in the booth at the moment. He finished in second, and great result for him, and just waiting for him to pop in. As joining us now was Will Redford finishing in second, and Will, that was a pretty good race between you, Benny, and Kane. How was that for you?
First off, sorry if there's some background noise. I've got some other people in this room, but it was a good race. The thing with Donington is it's very hard to pass, and it's pretty easy to defend. So it's hard to get by people, which, as you saw at the end, Benny could just hold the position if he put his car in the right place, which kind of meant me and Kane kept getting back up into each other, and we'd end up fighting a lot. So it was a good race, though. It was good. I enjoyed being at the front and not getting crashed into.
Yeah, we saw you Benny, and excuse me, Kane Swapper go basically battling at times and swapping around a few times as well. And looking ahead to Long Beach as well. Is it a track you've got much experience around, or is it a new one that you're going to have to learn for the last round next week?
Long Beach will be a new one for me. I bought it, but I haven't driven it yet. I think some people might have driven it in week 13 last season, but it's brand new to most people, so we'll see who can learn it the quickest and the best.
Yeah, after doing some laps of it during I think it was last season in week 13 when the track first came out, it's a fun track, but those walls get really close, and if you get it wrong, it's pretty much a game over, if you like. But it's a fun track. But looking ahead at the Long Beach as well, is there, apart from that, anything that you're kind of just aiming to do? Is it another podium that you want, or is it the one that you want to get and maybe get in the top step?
I I don't want to make any predictions because I've been pretty unlucky this season with what's happened to me. So I'll be happy if I finish the race in a decent position, wherever that may be. But hopefully it'll be a win, as I've not had one yet.
Good stuff. And before we let you go, Will, is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to you guys for the broadcast. Shout out to Alan for hosting the league, and shout out to my sponsor, Nest in the Woods.
Great stuff, as that was Will Redford, second place finisher, joining us in the booth. And yeah, I think up next, we just trying to see if there's anyone else that's waiting to get an interview, as it looks like Andrew Baranowski might be joining us as well. He finished in 12th and yeah, had a decent race, pretty much involved in that that feisty battle in the closing stages. And also it looks like we've got George Matic as well, but we'll wait for those guys to join us. But while we wait for them, Lorenzo, is there anyone that you want to interview?
We have a few guys that I think we can interview, because we also have Simon Edwards, Nathan Wade joining us over here on the broadcast booth. So I really like to get the perspective out of Simon Edwards, because he's one of the championship contenders. You know, he's been always fighting on the top three, and even though he's kind of like a long shot in comparison to what Ben Simpson and Lear Hughes have been doing throughout this championship, I really want to see what is his perspective in this race, given the fact it wasn't the best result for him. Actually, we have Simon in the broadcast booth, and Simon, that is, we can consider not being the most awesome race for you, but you managed to claw it back nevertheless with the top 20 spot.
Yeah, I hadn't done any practice all week. I did a TT at the very beginning of the week, and then I didn't touch the skip barber until today. So I haven't raced, I haven't done anything. So I was reasonably happy being in the top 6 there. I lost the toe with a silly mistake, but I was still happy that I might pick some places up near the end. And then I was concentrating so much on where I was on track, I didn't see Lear spun in front of me. So I just went straight into him. So yeah. I would have avoided him if I'd been looking up a bit. I could have got round him, but silly mistake on my behalf. But I managed to get back to the pits, and then I had a nice little run coming through a few of the pack. So it was still a nice race. You know, like I said, I wasn't expecting anything of the race, seeing I hadn't practiced for it, but it was still a nice race to be doing.
Yeah, I wanted to say, I think from my perspective, it wasn't I wouldn't say it was your fault, because it is a blind crest right-hander, right? So it's a little bit tricky. But unfortunately, that puts you back in the championship standings. Looking at the points, and it kind of looks as a long shot, but he still had that shot nevertheless. But realistically, do you see changing any plans, or are you still satisfied? You still think you can still retain that 3rd spot?
I might be able to retain the 3rd spot. I don't think I can get any higher. And Long Beach, I'm just trying to enjoy the race again. It's not a championship that I'm going to win, so I'm just trying to take it race by race at the moment.
Fair enough. And Simon, do you have anyone to give any shout-outs, thanks to here on the broadcast booth?
Yeah, I'll give a shout-out to my sponsor, Masternaut, to Alan Patterson for always running this league, and for the fish and chips I had earlier. That was nice.
Fair game, Simon. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day, and good luck when going to Long Beach.
Thank you.
Right, back to you, Ryan.
Yep, up next I think we will have let's take George Matic, 6th place finisher, who he had a great race and kept it clean by the looks of it. So George Matic, having a pretty much improving towards the end of the season, and George Matic joins us. And George, that looked like a flaming good race for you.
Yeah, it was. Sorry, I was just speaking to Andrew and Nathan there. I was mid-conversation. Yeah, I know last week I sounded a bit disappointed and a bit peeved, but I guess this week I proved myself. And it was a good race. I was just sat behind Ben. I know Nathan had a few issues, so I was just sat behind Ben. Ben had quite a lot of damage, and I could have gone for it, but I played the sensible game and tried to get some points back. So I know Nathan was dropping back, so I know there's like 2 points in it now in the championship, so it's going to be spicy in the final round.
Yeah, we saw you at times as well in a few battles, and it looked like you guys were having good fun. It looked really clean as well. But what did you think of Donington? Did you think it was good racing? Would you like to see the track back on the schedule for next season, or but with a different layout?
Yeah, the national layout's always great fun. GP layout's also good. Love that final few hairpins. Instead of going for the chicane, you go left, obviously. But yeah, I like Donington. It was a track that I had to learn again from scratch. So in that regard, I guess P6 from 12 to 6 was very good. But every lap I was learning, and yeah, I liked it. But I could have gone for it on Ben, and I did try to do it on the last lap. I was just waiting for the last lap, but he covered the inside and did a good job. So I backed out a bit in the end.
And looking ahead to the Long Beach next week, I'm guessing it's probably not a track that you've raced around, but I guess you're still looking forward to a street track with these cars. It's from my experience, it's always good fun. But is it going to be another track that's going to be you need to learn again?
You guessed it. Yep, 100%. It's going to be a learn from scratch job. So might need some external help from that. But yeah, I like this is good. This is good for me because the new tracks, new everything. I'm learning all the time, and obviously I'm not going to be quickest. I'm still not the quickest, but I can learn from who is quicker and get better and just be a bit smarter in my driving. I just need to sort of perfect it. I got a message from Seb Job on the Discord just now saying good race, just need to perfect it. So I'm not quite sure what he means by that. I mean, I guess he means get faster, but yeah. So yeah, looking forward to Long Beach. I haven't driven it, street circuit. I've seen about 30 seconds of a lap, so I wish I could talk you through it, but I'll have to wait and see till next Monday.
Yeah, good stuff. And lastly, before we let you go, George, anyone that you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out to you guys, of course, for broadcasting. Always good fun to watch it back. Shout out to Ben and Dave for keeping it clean, and yeah, shout out to Benny for yet another victory.
Good stuff. Well, again, congratulations on the 6th place, George, and look forward to seeing you at the final round at Long Beach next week. Cheers, guys. That was George Mattock joining us, and up next it looks like we'll have Andrew Baranowski, who I'll hand over to you, Lorenzo.
Yeah, so I have Andrew Baranowski, P12 in this race, and Andrew, really good race. You had at the very start, a little bit hectic, trying to move up and down the field, but that final lap, you nearly went for a top 10 spot. Anthony Cat covered up real nicely and went a little bit for launch. You tried to go by on him, but I think overall, despite what happened, you probably are satisfied with this result.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all fell apart on lap 2 with the incident at turn 1. I chose to go the wrong way around that accident and lost a ton of places, and then I got so unlucky on the exits of the chicane on that lap. There was a rogue rear wing flying down the track, and it took out my front wing. And from that point on, it was just, like you say, it was just damage limitation, trying to stick behind the guys and keep their draft because I had no top speed, and pick off the places where I could. And I really did enjoy the race with it was Daniel Tufts and Ben Daniels for the most part, and then Anthony coming through on that last lap and stealing those places was frustrating, but he'd managed to keep all of his wings on his car, which is more than I'd done, so fair play to him.
Yeah, but I believe because it is a race of attrition, of course. We were talking Nürburgring. I think it is a track that you have to move up quick. It was a really quick race, and for the championship, what happens is I think you kind of close up a little bit on the gap on Ewan. I don't remember what Ewan finishing this race, but it kind of evens up the gap in round 5. Do you think you can see yourself moving in top 5? Are you confident heading to Long Beach?
No, definitely not confident heading into Long Beach. I think if you think that this race had a lot of incidents in it, then next week's going to be an interesting one for sure. But top 5 is a great ambition to have, and I'd like to see if I can get it. I think I've already had my drop weeks in terms of poor performances, so yeah, I've got to pull something out of the bag next week and at least make sure I get in that top 10.
Yeah, and any practice done on that very lengthy and wide track? No, I'm just kidding. It's a very short and a very tight track.
No, I've been avoiding it at all costs.
Fair game. Well, Andrew, before I let you go, you have any shout-outs you want to give anybody, to sponsors, family, anybody watching?
No, just shout out to everyone in the Monday Night Skippy League, and also shout out to anyone that managed to keep both of their wings in that race.
the wing trauma is going to be real. Well, anyway, Andrew, thanks so much for coming to the broadcast booth, and I wish you good luck next week into the finale.
Thank you very much.
All right, back to you, Ryan.
Yep, and last up, it looks like we've got Nathan Wade, who is having a good race, but unfortunately, it all seemed to fall to pieces, literally, in the middle of the race after having contact with another car. But Nathan, you were having a good race, but unfortunately, like I said, you were in a battle with another car and got tagged off into the gravel. But what happened?
Yeah, it's pretty bad race for me, to be fair. I'm taking it as a learning curve. I did make some silly moves, but I learn. You know, I've only been doing this for 9 weeks now, so I'll take that for next season. I had damage from the end of lap 1. I believe it was Adam Miles' rear wing. It came off and hit me in the chicane. That gave me nose damage, so I was losing a bit of time there. I then had a collision with Ben at the uphill right. I kind of sent it on him and tagged him out wide, but he was okay. He didn't get any damage from that. Then we had this same identical move, except with swap places, where he sent it on me. I turned in a little bit too early. That sent me miles out wide, like flying in the air, and completely broke my car. So that kind of screwed me over a little bit. I then went into the pits, got that changed. I then tried to charge through the pack, and yeah, I just made some silly moves and took myself out basically. So a bit depressing, but learning curve.
Yeah, you talk about learning in the Skip Barber as well. What sort of things have you been learning or have learned? Do you think the Skip Barber is helping with stuff like racecraft, car control, that sort of thing? How has it been for you?
I'd say definitely with racecraft, because I've never really done like proper racing before. So like with the silly moves I've made today, like I know not to do it next time, and like for example like turning in earlier and stuff in certain scenarios. Just because I play on quite a low FOV, so I'm quite zoomed in, so I can't see like towards the left and right of me as much. But definitely with car control, I think these are like, especially pedal wise, I'd say the Skippys are quite hard to control. Like it's quite hard to control, especially when you want to go quick. So yeah, it's helping me with that.
And looking ahead to Long Beach next week, what do you think you can do there? Do you think you can maybe finish up higher up in the field, or is it just basically turn up and just see how the race goes?
I've seen one lap of Long Beach, which is about like an hour before this race, so it's gonna be a fun, interesting race. There's been a lot of incidents in this race. I feel like next week is going to be worse, purely because street circuit. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping I can hopefully get a top 15 at least. That's kind of what I'm aiming for, and finish on good terms for this season. So, yeah.
Good stuff. And before we let you go, Nathan, anyone that you want to give a quick thanks or shout out to?
Just you guys and Alan for running the league, obviously. I've got nothing else to say, to be fair. Cheers, though.
And yeah, we enjoyed doing the broadcasts, and we look forward to seeing you on track at the finale next week, Nathan.
Cheers, guys.
as that was Nathan Wade joining us, and unfortunately didn't have the best of races, but hopefully he can redeem himself at Long Beach. But up on your screen now is the latest championship standings after tonight, with Benny Simonson pretty much wrapping up the championship by the looks of it. In first place with Lear Hughes in second, Simon Edwards in third, with Adam Miles in fourth and Ewan Patterson and rounded at the top five. Andrew Baranowski in sixth, with Ben Evans in seventh, with Dave Dawson in eighth, ninth, and Will Redford and Daniel Tuff rounded out the top 10. And looking ahead to Long Beach next week, Lorenzo, even though you probably won't be here with Linus being back next week, hopefully, how do you think that track will play out, and what do you expect?
Yeah, I think Linus will be back next week to add up to this broadcast. But it will be an interesting race, I'll tell you this much. I think I'm gonna kind of second what Andrew Baranowski said. It will be basically Donington V2, but without the runoffs of sorts. So I think drivers, those who are having aspirations for top 5 or even top 10 in the championship, will have to take this race with more of a cautious approach. It won't be as fast as Donington, but it will be more dangerous than driving in Donington. It is more driver prone. So there are some bumps in the track where if you take it the wrong way, especially in some small curbings, the car can bounce so heavily, and because of the bounce, the car snaps, and to get it back on track, it is quite complicated. So it will be a very interesting race to see. I can't wait to see it.
Good to hear. And before we let you go, I just want to say thanks first of all to Hugo Leroyce, who's done a great job on the cameras, and thanks to Lorenzo for popping in and joining me in place of Linus, who should be back next week. And thanks to everyone that's been watching the UK&I Monday Night Skippys, supported by Cam, the campaign against Living Miserably. And that looks like we're done for tonight, but don't forget the final round is at Long Beach, so don't forget to tune in next week. But for now, good night, and see you next time.